On October 14, 2025, Latter-day Saints and friends of the faith from every corner of the globe gathered in their homes, chapels, and meeting houses to witness a historic moment. The world watched together, united by technology and faith, as a significant chapter in church history unfolded before their eyes. From the heart of Salt Lake City, a new First Presidency was announced at Temple Square, following the peaceful passing of President Russell M. Nelson at the remarkable age of 101. President Nelson's legacy of compassion, vision, and unwavering faith was honored by millions, as mourners gathered to pay their respects and reflect on his profound influence. In accordance with the Church's established pattern of succession, President Dallin H. Oaks, then 93 years old and the longest-serving apostle, was sustained as the 18th president and prophet. His decades of dedicated service, wisdom, and steady leadership prepared him for this sacred responsibility, and his appointment was met with both reverence and anticipation. In his first heartfelt remarks as president, President Oaks humbly accepted the mantle of leadership. He expressed deep gratitude for the trust placed in him, pledging his heart and soul to serve the worldwide church. He called for unity, understanding, and civility, urging members to come together in a world often marked by division and uncertainty. The live broadcast not only marked a transition in leadership, but also reaffirmed the enduring principle of continuous revelation and inspired guidance, which are central to the Latter-day Saint faith. Members were reminded that the heavens remain open and that God's direction continues through living prophets. For members across continents and cultures, the orderly and peaceful transition was a powerful testament to the Church's divine organization. It was a moment filled with hope, reassurance, and a renewed sense of purpose for the future, as believers looked forward to new guidance and inspiration. The atmosphere in meeting houses and homes was one of quiet reflection and solemn commitment. As members prepared to raise their hands in sustaining vote, they looked to their new prophet for guidance, comfort, and vision in the years ahead, united in faith and purpose. The First Presidency, the highest governing body of the Church, consists of the President and his two counselors. President Oaks called President Henrybeyring, 92, as first counselor, and President d.toddchristofferson, 80, as second counselor, forming a presidency rich in experience and insight. The selection of counselors is a deeply spiritual process, involving fasting and prayer. Together, they deliberate on all matters affecting the Church, from leadership callings to humanitarian efforts, making decisions in unity. President Eyring's continued service provides stability and continuity, while President Christofferson brings a fresh perspective. This blend of experience and new insight ensures balanced leadership for the Church's global ministry. For Latter-day Saints, the formation of this new First Presidency is a sacred event, setting the course for the Church's journey ahead. President Dallin H. Oaks brings a distinguished background shaped by law, academia, and lifelong devotion to his faith. His life is a remarkable tapestry woven from experiences in the courtroom, the classroom, and the chapel. Throughout his career, he has demonstrated unwavering commitment to principles of justice, education, and spiritual service, earning respect in every sphere he has entered. Born in Provo, Utah, President Oaks faced significant challenges early in life. Losing his father at age 7, he developed resilience and deep faith that would guide him throughout his journey. Raised by a devoted mother, he learned the value of hard work, perseverance, and trust in God, even in the face of adversity. These formative years in a close-knit Utah community shaped his character and instilled in him a desire to serve others. He went on to earn a Juris Doctor from the University of Chicago, where his academic excellence set him apart. After graduation, he clerked for Chief Justice Earl Warren of the United States Supreme Court, gaining invaluable insight into the nation's highest legal processes. Later, he returned to the University of Chicago as a law professor, inspiring countless students with his intellect, integrity, and dedication to the law. As president of Brigham Young University, President Oaks guided the institution through a period of significant growth and transformation. He emphasized both spiritual and intellectual development, encouraging students to pursue academic excellence while deepening their faith. His leadership left a lasting legacy, strengthening the university's mission and reputation. Later, he served as a justice on the Utah Supreme Court, where his decisions reflected wisdom, fairness, and compassion. In 1984, he was called as an apostle of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, marking a new chapter of service and spiritual leadership that would impact millions. Over 4 decades as an apostle, including his service as first counselor to President Nelson, President Oaks has been uniquely prepared for the responsibilities of the presidency. His experience, humility, and vision have helped guide the church through times of change and growth. President Oaks's journey, from a young boy facing loss to a prophet and leader, reflects a life dedicated to service, law, and the Lord. His story is one of faith, perseverance, and a deep commitment to uplifting others, inspiring generations to follow in his footsteps. President Henry Beyring's continued service as first counselor brings vital continuity and wisdom to the First Presidency. At 92, he has served as counselor to 3 consecutive church presidents, making him a familiar and beloved leader. With a background in academia, including degrees from Harvard and leadership at Ricks College, he has shaped church education and inspired countless members. Known for his gentle demeanor and heartfelt sermons, President Beyring connects deeply with members, often sharing personal stories and emphasizing family and revelation. His gratitude and humility were evident during the announcement broadcast, reflecting his leadership style. As first counselor, he will be President Oaks's primary support and trusted advisor, drawing on decades of experience. For Latter-day Saints, President Beyring's presence is a comforting sign of stability and wise guidance for the future. The calling of d.toddchristofferson as second counselor brings a new yet experienced perspective to the First Presidency. At 80, he has served as an apostle since 2008 and is known for his humility and service-oriented leadership. With a law degree from Duke and a distinguished legal career, including work as Associate General Counsel for Nations Bank, he brings analytical skill and organizational insight. President Christofferson's teachings focus on foundational gospel principles, covenants, and personal integrity. His international assignments have given him a broad perspective on the church's global membership. His inclusion creates a leadership team with strong legal and institutional foundations, well equipped for modern challenges. For members, his appointment is an opportunity to be guided by a leader of wisdom, integrity, and devotion. Leadership transitions in the church are marked by order and simplicity, free from political maneuvering. Upon a president's passing, the First Presidency dissolves, and authority returns to the quorum of the 12 apostles, led by the senior apostle. Dallin H. Oaks, as the longest-serving apostle, became the new president following President Nelson's passing. The apostles meet in the Salt Lake Temple, sustaining the senior apostle as president in a sacred, prayerful setting. The new president then selects his counselors, and the next in seniority becomes president of the Quorum of the 12, now Jeffrey R. Holland. This process ensures seamless continuity and stability, preventing power struggles and maintaining divine order. The succession from President Nelson to President Oaks reaffirms the enduring strength of this inspired system. The new First Presidency leads a global faith of 17.5 million members in over 160 countries. While the church's roots and headquarters are in Utah, its membership is increasingly international, with rapid growth in Latin America, Africa, and the Philippines. The U.S. still accounts for a significant portion, but most members now speak a language other than English. The leadership must balance the needs of established core areas with those of diverse, growing international congregations. Massive translation and publishing efforts reflect the church's global reach. The First Presidency oversees a vast network of temples, meeting houses, and missions, and is likely to continue calling leaders from diverse backgrounds. Their challenge is to minister to all, uniting a tapestry of cultures and experiences in a common faith. President Oaks's presidency is expected to focus on defending religious liberty and articulating church doctrine with clarity. As he steps into this role, many anticipate a renewed emphasis on the foundational principles that have long guided the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. His leadership style is known for its directness and commitment to upholding the church's core beliefs, even in the face of shifting cultural landscapes. As a former jurist and constitutional scholar, President Oaks has long championed religious freedom as essential to society. His legal background gives him a unique perspective on the intersection of faith and law, and he has frequently spoken about the importance of protecting the rights of individuals and institutions to practice their beliefs without interference. This advocacy is expected to continue, with a focus on ensuring that religious voices remain part of public discourse. He will likely continue emphasizing the Church's teachings on family, marriage, and gender, including the doctrine of marriage between a man and a woman. These principles are seen as central to the Church's identity and mission, and President Oaks has consistently underscored their importance in talks and writings. His presidency may bring renewed efforts to support families and encourage members to live according to these standards, even as societal views evolve. The covenant path, a series of sacred promises with God, will remain central, with calls for members to live up to these covenants. President Oaks is expected to encourage members to deepen their spiritual commitments, participate in temple worship, and strengthen their faith through personal devotion and service. The idea of walking the covenant path is likely to be a recurring theme, reinforcing the importance of personal responsibility and spiritual growth. President Oaks's leadership is expected to maintain doctrinal clarity even on topics at odds with societal trends, such as LGBTQ+ issues. He has often spoken about the need for compassion while also upholding the Church's established teachings. This approach may lead to ongoing discussions within the Church and with the broader public, as leaders seek to balance empathy with adherence to doctrine. While these stances provide direction for members, they also present challenges for some, making the presidency's approach closely watched. Members who struggle with certain teachings may look for increased support and understanding, while others will appreciate the clear guidance. The way President Oaks navigates these complexities will shape perceptions both inside and outside the Church. Analysts predict a presidency that favors incremental change but remains firm on core doctrines, calling members to stand as a distinct people. As the Church moves forward, President Oaks's leadership will likely be marked by a careful balance of tradition and adaptation, encouraging members to remain steadfast in their faith while engaging thoughtfully with the world around them. Under the new First Presidency, the Church is expected to emphasize continuity, principled counsel, and a renewed focus on the covenant path. The leadership trio's legal and academic backgrounds suggest a thoughtful, methodical approach to administration. Radical shifts are unlikely. Instead, the Church will continue strengthening members' faith and building the kingdom worldwide. President Oaks's institutionalist style will foster order and careful consideration, with an emphasis on civil discourse and finding common ground. The Church will be well prepared to navigate legal and social challenges, especially regarding religious freedom. Spiritually, the presidency will encourage deeper discipleship, temple attendance, and service, calling members to live Christ-centered lives. The transition reaffirms the Church's belief in living prophets and continuous revelation, as the new presidency leads the global effort to gather Israel and prepare for the Savior's return.